Hello, welcome to our American History 1 course here at Waldorf University. I'm Dr. Mason. I will be your professor as we kind of look at early American history to 1877 over the course of the next 8 weeks. And he split the course into 8 different units. So you might notice I do things maybe a little bit differently than some of the other classes you have. Some of the things are the same, but one of the things you can bet on is that every single week I'll post an announcement with a video and then a text piece. I mean, that's usually a good way to start and kind of figure out where we're at and where we're going. I try to give you some of these marks so we can tell what's happening and maybe just kind of connect a little bit more. In this video today, I'm going to briefly introduce myself. I'm going to talk about the discussion board for the week. I'm going to talk about your Unit 1 assignment, and then I'm also just going to talk about some general advice for the course as you get going. So as we work through this, let's kind of get it started. So as I mentioned, I'm Kevin Mason. I've been here at Waldorf for about 7 years now. I've been the chair of the Department of History, Geography, and Political Science for about the last 5. I'm an American historian. Primarily, I focus on rural and environmental topics, particularly related to the Midwest and how, like my most recent project, I was working on how changes in the natural environment kind of exacerbated tensions between indigenous peoples and settler populations. If you're interested in my work, you can go over to my professor profile, and there's some links to different things I've written or presentations I've done, and hopefully those things can help you take a look into that. As I kind of think about what's brought me here to Waldorf, I started my college experience at North Iowa Area Community College, where I got my associate's degree. I then transferred to the University of Mary in Bismarck, North Dakota, where I got my Bachelor of Science in Social and Behavioral Sciences. I did my first master's degree at Wayland Baptist University in Plainview, Texas, focused in American history. Then I actually did a second master's degree here in the Waldorf Online format in organizational leadership focused in human resource development. So if you're in some of those org leadership courses, you might see me over there as well. And then I also got my PhD at Iowa State University in Ames, Iowa, in rural and environmental history, focused both globally and the American context. I don't know, other things about me. I live in Mason City, Iowa, where my wife works at our local community college. We have a dog named Arthur. Otherwise, ask me whatever's on your mind, and I'll maybe fill you in. As we kind of look at this, and I think about getting into the course, the first thing you're going to have to do over on the discussion board this week is introduce yourself. I have 2 parts to the question. The first being focused on kind of you, talking about who you are. You can share as much as little as you want, but I want you to kind of start to get a familiarity with one another. One of the things that I think can really take an online class from good to great is the discussion boards. And if we commit to doing a good job over there, representing our perspectives, doing our research, deploying our evidence, just really putting our best kind of foot forward in that each week will really change the overall nature of a class, especially an online class, to, I think, both make it memorable and to increase our ability to learn from what we're talking about. So as we look at this, I want you to commit to that every week. The second thing you have to do on the discussion board this week is talk about why it's important to study history. How do we learn from the past? And so this week, there's not a ton of research. There's not a ton of things you're going to have to put in there. But I do want you to think about how you're kind of supporting the points you're making. What's the argument you're trying to make? And then what are the reasons to support that? What evidence do you have is something we're going to talk about repeatedly throughout the course. So that's the discussion board this week. You also have Unit 1 assignment, which will get us doing some basic research, get us in the Waldorf Online Library or under our Research Resources tab. If you look in the course Blackboard shell, you'll notice that over on the menu, there is a thing that says Research Resources. That'll connect you both to sources in the Waldorf Library with that General Studies Index and the Waldorf History Index. But then also there's a bunch of other sites that you could use to find information to utilize throughout the course. So as you do this in Unit 1, you're going to we're talking about native peoples, indigenous peoples in particular, of North America, and also kind of complexity of America's past. One of the things we commonly tend to do is kind of lump all of our Native American peoples together. And we want to realize that these are diverse cultures that have persisted and aren't just something in the distant past. Many of them have persisted until today, are vibrant cultures within our society and make up the cultural mosaic of what the United States is. And so as you take a look at this, you got to find a peer-reviewed article. So one of the things you don't want to do on assignment is hop over to Google, just pop in something and then find a non-peer-reviewed article. It won't work for the purposes of the assignment. And so as you do this, there's a variety of different parts. You'll open up this worksheet. You're going to see the different kind of information you have to put in, and that should help guide you through the assignment. And hopefully with that, you can always find answers under syllabus schedule in the Blackboard shell, and then also there's more directions under the worksheet itself as you open that up. If you have trouble accessing that or you have any questions about the course, make sure you're reaching out. That's my first major piece of advice for succeeding, not just in this class, but in the online kind of format in general. Communicate. We don't see each other like I do in my residential face-to-face classes here at Waldorf, where I kind of get that physical touch point a couple times a week. I don't know what you have going on a week-to-week basis. I know many of you have a variety of different professional and personal challenges that you're kind of facing as you seek to get an online degree, and I really appreciate that, and I appreciate your commitment to bettering yourself while also maintaining your other responsibilities. But I can't read minds, so I need you to communicate with me as you work your way through the course. The easiest way to do that is to contact me via email at kevin.mason@waldorf.edu. You can also give me a call. My office phone 641-585-8222. But I want to just encourage you that email is usually the best way. I get it literally right here. It pops onto my watch. If it's something I can help you with immediately, I will try to do that. If it's something I got to get to the computer and work on, I will try to do that as well as soon as possible. I try to respond to emails 7 days a week, generally during most hours of the day. So I realize that you're trying to fit this work into your life in a variety of different ways, no matter what your circumstances are. So I want to be here to help you however I can, but I need you to communicate with me. Other general piece of advice as you work your way through the course: don't cheat. I take plagiarism pretty seriously. I've worked on the academic honesty policy here at Waldorf. The dean's office is literally directly below my office here in Salveston Hall. So we won't have problems working through the protocols if that's what we have to do. You're in college to learn and to grow, and I want you to come into this with the mindset of maybe you're not going to succeed all the time, maybe you're going to struggle with assignments, but that's kind of the point. If you're not working, if it's not a challenge at all, are you really growing that much? And I want you to keep that in mind. Also, I want you to think about that some of your employers are paying for you to be here. Some of you have other people to pay for your studies. Some of you are taking out loans to do this. And think about that investment that you're making and that you want to get your money's worth. And the only way to do that is to actually put the work in and to commit to doing the best you can on a week-to-week basis. Even if it's something not related to your major, like history, hopefully we'll have kind of a quality semester. And this will end up helping you be a better big picture thinker. Along that line, I'm going to work every single week starting next week. We're going to introduce a new skill over 6 weeks. Where we're going to talk about things that I think are skills that are useful as to anyone in our society, in any profession. And we're going to talk about things like evaluating evidence or determining what sources are most accurate and applicable. We're going to talk about historical agency and contingency and the decisions people make in historical contexts that shape events. We're going to talk about continuity and change, the objective things that are different or stay the same over the course of a historical situation. Then we're going to link those to progress and decline and talk about positive and negative outcomes of historical continuities and changes. Then we'll really try to see the big picture when we confront historical significance, or the big why events are relevant and important to modern audiences. And then finally, our seventh week of the course, we're going to talk about empathy and moral judgment. And I'll talk about each one of those things in these videos each week. So make sure you're taking a minute to take a look at these. I do also have videos over on the discussion board you can check out that talk about historiography, or kind of the different debates historians have had about specific topics. One of the things that we need to realize is that in the same way that you probably look at things differently than you even did 5 or 10 years ago, as historians exist in society and we study topics in greater depth and understand complexity better and some of these different things, sometimes narratives start to change and people advance different arguments. That's one of the things we want to understand. I try to do that on the discussion board videos each week. So as you work your way through the course, make sure you're reaching out. I am here to help you be in every position possible to be successful. And I'm really looking forward to our course. Good luck this week.